Hello everyone, GeneralApple here with another Ghostpia video, and on our last video we actually met this nice lady right here, and apparently she want to make some sort of a contract with us, which we still don't know what are the benefits of this contract, if there is some. And yeah, hopefully we're gonna finish episode 4 today and find out some answers, because we are already so close to the end. Like, there's literally one more episode left. So let's just continue right where we left off last time, and pray to God we actually get some answers, because I'm dying to know what the hell is going on. So, my eyes start spinning. My rough breathing grows so hot and out of control. I strip off my sweater. I pull out hairs, but nothing I do can cool me down. Oh God, that scared me. Jesus, they gave me quite a scare. I let out something between a grunt and a scream, praying that this is all just a bad dream as I turn the room inside out in faint hope that yours hiding somewhere. Now that I think about it, we never got that door replaced. Sure, I'm at least partially at fault for leaving this room by myself for so long, despite the situation, but we haven't even done anything recently. I've lost both Pacifica and Anya, so I thought the situation was at a stalemate. I thought there was nothing more they could take from me. Pacifica and Anya haven't come back. Will Yoru not come back either? Then what'll happen to me? There's a cabinet toppled on the floor. Yes, the one Yoru was given, damn it. One of the drawers has been yanked out, its contents scattered on the ground. There's the bag of sweets I got from Renia. Unlike the simple sweets Mr. Patel sells at this cafe, these sweets are a very cute assortment that girls adore. I tear open the packaging and toss one of the sweets into my mouth at random. I guess it's a macaron. I remember that Renia once said, "Eat sweets when you're tired." Renia's sweets are a little special. When you eat them, they really make you happy. Your body feels warm and relaxed. Maybe there's a little bit of alcohol in them, and they're exactly what I need right now. Next up is some sort of rolled cream cake. The one after that is undoubtedly chocolate. I just devour the sweets one after another, as if to drown out the sadness and despair. A piece of caramelized almond gets caught in my throat. I try to get a drink of water, but I can't. Oh, please don't tell me we're choking to death. That is embarrassing. I collapse limply onto the floor. My body so powerless I can't even react to the coldness of the floor touching my face. I just aimlessly roll around. It's like my brain has turned into clay. Everything buried deep within my chest just disappears. Even my heart. In any case, I'm just blankly staring at my empty self. And it feels so comforting. How nice. It's good to relax. Very good. Don't think of it as not being able to think. Think of it as needing to think, not needing to think. Wow, it's so much more pleasant to think about not thinking like that. I cackle. I can't open my mouth, but I cackle. I'm enjoying myself so much, I'm going to cry from pleasant sadness. That's kind of strange, but it's sadly pleasant. Sweets are amazing, huh? They make you feel so happy. If only everyone could be happy. Happy forever. If only we could just all give up on everything. Is there any point in ghosts fussing over anything? Oh, Jesus. Strange. Everything fades into darkness. What? Oh, we're gonna experience another memory? Miss Ninja. Miss Ninja? Yoru? Oh. I jump up as if a switch just been flipped, and right before me is Clara. Oh, it's just you. I feel like I was dealt the worst card out of a deck made of only bad cards. I even considered just going back to sleep. Leave. The sweets had cast a temporary shadow over all my problems, but now it feels like their magic has faded away. My consciousness is clear. The mad frustration that took over me is coming back. My palms are suddenly sweaty. In the span of 1 second, I curse myself 9,900 times. I ask myself what I think I'm doing. I answer myself, how should I know, dumbass? And I cry to myself 9,900 times. As she watches me, a confused yet confident Clara points her index finger at me. The nerve of her. Ugh. So I break that finger. Can you blame me? I said leave, don't you get it? Clara flinches at my threatening shout. She even takes a step backwards. But then she stops, frustratingly. Her eyes are shining with a sense of duty. It doesn't hurt as bad as getting shot, so I'm fine. My finger will heal. Just tell me, why are you hanging out with the sweet seller? I'm just friends with her now, that's all. Hanging out with the sweet seller is like admitting that you're a bad person, you know. What's so bad about her? I mean, she's a sweet seller, you know. There can't be anything good about her. What? What's wrong with making sweets? What does the god of your church prohibit? Cookies or something? Cookies and bad drugs are two completely different things. Ugh. Wait, I feel like you just said something weird. You're the weird one. Oh, that really hurts. By sweet seller, do you mean Renya, right? Yeah, her. She's well known. She's kind of a bigwig with lots of subordinates. A sweet seller is someone who makes sweets and sell them for profit, right? Yeah, but people who sell bad drugs are also called sweet sellers, aren't they? Oh. Wait, I didn't know that. Well, I thought the cookies were a drug, I mean, obviously. You saw a reaction. People use sweets to refer to bad drugs, don't they? Using kid-friendly words and standing for something else. What's that called again? I didn't know that. Did you take her at face value when she said she was a sweet seller? Yeah. Don't laugh. You want me to break another finger? I just didn't know you had such a cute, childish side to you, Miss Ninja. How can you expect a foreigner to know such local euphemisms? Jeez, what a word. I can kind of relate. Clara's finger is starting to swell and turn an odd color, but she keeps laughing anyway. Oh man, you smacked her. Thanks to that, I'm able to process some of my thoughts. So is Renya like the sweet seller boss of this town or something? Yes, but I don't mean she bakes the most cookies in town or anything, okay? Damn it. I recall the time I raided the church. I was able to bribe the guard with candy. He was looking forward to enjoying them. The reason it worked was because I somehow instinctively knew that sweets have spread throughout town, even among people who guard a church. I probably knew about it before I lost my memory. The sweet seller and the church shared some common ground, but they've kept even a devout believer like Clara in the dark about it. I suddenly smell something suspicious here. Looks like I have to pay Renya a visit. I'm going to take a nap. I think you should clean up the room first. Clean it up for me. Just don't touch anything under the bed. You can have some of my saved up sweets when you're done. I toss myself into bed without waiting for Clara to respond. I quickly slip into genuine, full-blown sleep. Okay, so she's like a massive Kingpin? That's terrible. Even Yoru? Renya looks deeply concerned. Looks. Taking a nap was the right choice. I'm calm enough to hide my impatience and irritation. I heard everything. Everything about what, exactly? Everything about your work. You have a real interesting job, Renya. Yeah, I guess the cat's out of the bag. Yes, I'm more of a bad girl than my appearances suggest. Renya speaks with a smile as if nothing has changed. It's almost chillingly eerie how normal she's acting, but it's not enough to break me. I'm no saint. I'm in no position to lecture anyone on their life choices, but I cannot support yours, so... You're saying you can't work with me, is that correct? Sorry. I made sure not to let you see them, but I have many subordinates. I'm sure they can help you find your roommate. So won't you let us help you? No thanks, I'll search for your room myself. Is it because I'm a bad girl? I can't say that has nothing to do with it. There are two types of ghosts in this town. The first are honestly trash. They can't question any abnormalities this town has, and obviously I don't mean it's against their philosophy or religion. I mean they're genuinely unable to notice that anything's abnormal. We could explain it to them, but they wouldn't really understand. To them, they would just be empty words. The other type are ghosts who recognize the chaotic state of this town is, and those who know exactly what this town is. For ages, every ghost has been either one or the other, but you're special, Sayako. You notice the town abnormalities, yet you know nothing. Instead, you compensate your lack of knowledge with an excess of power. You're incomplete, but that's what's fascinating about you. Hey, thanks. I want to make you complete, and together, we need to dethrone the authority of the priest and his church. And to do it properly, we need to turn this humiliating situation on its head. He shouldn't have all that power. The two of us should. And to achieve this goal, I need a peace of mind that you won't ever betray me. You're not going to try to persuade me now, are you? If you're not with me, then you might as well just say you don't want to know the truth for all eternity. In either case, just promise me you won't get in the way of my work. So what'll it be? Astonishingly, I hesitate. I should be refusing her offer without a second thought. But I just can't bring myself to say I don't need to know. I've always been an outsider. I've been left in the dark as to why the priest detained Yoru in the church, or why Pacifica and Anya are gone. And it's because my complete ignorance. The biggest example of that ignorance is the whole sweet seller business. If I only had the proper knowledge, I could recognize so many more things by myself. My greed for knowledge has dulled my judgment. I realize I've broken into cold sweat. My eyes are wandering around pathetically. It's like I'm searching for something to help me out of this mess. My eyes stop on something, and that something is, in some sense, the answer I've been looking for. Liar. And I only catch sight of that something by complete coincidence. There's a dresser in the corner of Renia's room, and on the dresser is a familiar tube of lipstick. Or rather, the lipstick-shaped ultra-small gun straight out of the spy movie that Pacifica ordered from Anya. A super cool weapon for the super cool Pacifica. Even Yoru was ecstatic when she saw it in action. If I'm not mistaken, Anya was in the process of mass-producing them. If Renia has one, then who exactly is she? Come to think of it, one of the assassins who broke into my room also had a gun that was identical to the one in Pacifica's possession. I don't want to think any further than that, but my brain calmly connected dots on its own, forming a disturbing outline. Oh, what's wrong? That lipstick over there. You're interested in makeup? We have more pressing things to talk about than makeup, don't we, Sayako? Renia looks at me in incredulity. Wow, what a word. As if she has no idea why I would bring up the lipstick right now. She's playing dumb. If I had come here without getting a wink of sleep first, I probably wouldn't have had the confidence to do anything about it or even notice it. Her acting looks quite natural. That's right, her acting looks quite natural indeed. Mind if I take a closer look at it? Be my guest. I pick up the lipstick with slow, wide movements. It's unused. The seal is still intact, I see. So the one Pacifica used back then was a prototype, huh? Perhaps this is a production unit from the first manufactured lot. Mind if I try using this lipstick? You sure can be stubborn sometimes. Fine, keep wasting time then. I'm moderately surprised. It seems Renia doesn't know what this thing actually is. If she did, she wouldn't be keeping up this farce. Even if she were playing dumb, she gains nothing by allowing me to pick this thing up. Is she confident that if I suddenly shot her with a thing I'd miss? Is she confident that even if I did hit her, she'd be fine? No, wait. What if I'm just a big idiot and this isn't a lipstick-shaped gun, but just plain old lipstick? Suddenly, a short and sweet thought, sweeter than any sweets sold by a sweet seller, flashes in the back of my mind. It's so short and sweet and stupid, it makes me smile to myself. Renia lets out a displeased hum. I decide to take a gamble on that thought. I think I'm starting to get it. There was a fundamental flaw in my deduction. This isn't proof that Pacifica colluding with her. In fact, I dare say it's proof that there's no collision at all. This lipstick was taken from Pacifica, maybe even stolen. If someone holding her captive, it wouldn't be a surprise if they also stole a cosmetic bag from her too. Are you that interested in the lipstick? I received it from my subordinates as a small present. I suppose I'm a good boss, aren't I? I look into Renia's eyes. She seems to be confused. I can tell she's losing a little confidence in her discernment. Like, why is this girl so obsessed with that lipstick? Did I miss something? Are you that interested in some run-of-the-mill lipstick? Sitting before me is no longer the mysterious, delicate, beautiful girl I once knew. Just one measly ghost who can't even stand up. I open the seal on the lipstick. I see. So you move the bottom part like this and... Renya, the way you try to make friends is incredibly flawed. Oof. The recoil heavier than I expected. I was aiming for a right arm, but I hit her left leg. So much for accuracy. Though I guess you shouldn't expect much from a gun that's designed for form over function. If you want me to be your friend, just say so. You didn't have to erase all of my existing friends. But in any case, it's exactly what I need right now. Give me back my friends. No. Suddenly, my vision shakes. Something hit me in the back of the head. The concussion lasts only for a few seconds, but it looks that's all they needed. I feel an intense discomfort at the nape of my neck. The pain only comes a second later. I reflexively reach back, something stabbing me, something with characteristic shape identifiable by touch alone, a syringe. Ah, damn it, I walked right into that one. I curse my lack of precaution as I instinctively pull out a syringe. When it tumbles to the floor, I notice it's several times bigger than the ones they use for vaccine or for drawing blood. It sends shiver down my spine. As far as I can tell, the cylinder is still about a third full, so it's not like they've all been injected inside me. Not that that's any consolation, mind you. That's our flagship product. Its sweet flavor makes it popular with girls. It's also popular with boys since it can be subtly mixed into food and drink. A shock runs through the back of my eyeballs down to my hip bone, or rather than an impact, it's more of a sudden loss of strength. They say the closing years of the Great War were a tragic time, you see. No matter how hard I try to brace my legs, my vision sways and sinks. Oh my god, Jesus! As a result, the painkiller saw heavy usage during that period. It was already an old drug at the time, and there were several conflicting theories to what made such a resurgence. Perhaps it was because its use and side effects were well known, or perhaps it was due to collusion between pharmaceutical companies. Who knows what the truth is? I felt my legs were supporting my body weight, but before I know it, I'm on my knees. In any case, it's a potent drug. At low doses, it acts as a sedative, granting soldiers relaxation and sleep. At high doses, it acts as tranquilizer to neutralize neurotic soldiers. Unnatural. Oh. Before I know it, my upper body has collapsed, and I'm down to my hands and knees. Well, it wasn't the full amount, but that should do it. Regardless, I'm able to maintain my vision, so I keep watching. Isn't that right, Met? Yes. In her hands is a familiar silver object. Anya told me all about it as a soldier control device used in the closing years of the Great Wars. Normally, you should be in a comatose state long ago, but you shrugged it off. You've consumed enough quantities over a long enough period of time to have grown a physical dependence, and yet you've shown absolutely no sign of addiction. Are ninjas just resistant to poison? What are you going to do to me? This... Either. Whoa, what the hell is going on? Okay, it's finally, we're getting some story up in here. I've waited for this. Miss Met ran a scalpel across my wrist at the softest spot, a little over the base, above the base. Instead of pain, I feel fear, and by then, the blood already flowing. Mrs. Met seemed so skilled at this. She must have done this many times before. I tried to shake her off my arm. I shouldn't have done that. It only causes the blood to overflow even more. My body's limp from fear, despair, and helplessness. The lukewarm blood spilling down my wrist doesn't even feel like it's my own blood. Mrs. Met plumps the silver pillbug into the incision. The pillbug makes a whirring startup noise as it tries to crawl inside. It stings. If this is a dream, I wish I'd wake up, and yet I can't peel my eyes away from the nightmare. It'll take some time for it to reach your spine, so let's have a nice chat while we wait. I see. So once that happens, I'm out, huh? You just want to enjoy watching me suffer. Until then, Renya, I can feel your sadistic gaze pouring down on me. If the drugs didn't work, then maybe this thing won't work either. I'm not sure if I actually said that. I can clearly feel my lips, as if the whole world is behind frosted glass. But at least I can think clearly on my side of the frosted glass. According to what Renya's saying, my body seems to eliminate drugs faster than normal. With a little bit of time, maybe I can regain free use of my body. But that little bit of time is the problem. The pillbug isn't moving very fast, but my arm isn't very long either. Perhaps. Sounds like an experiment worth. I don't hear what she says after that, or rather, I hear it, but only disjointed sounds. I'm only able to catch the nuance. The way I make friends is flawed. That's none of your business. Why make friends with someone who already has friends? That's like setting yourself up for the number 2 at best and racing to the bottom. No thanks, I'm nobody number 2, and I don't want to be below anybody else. My ears are ringing. Like what happens after you've heard a loud sound? Like a bomb went off next door. Something squirming on the other side of the frosted glass. My consciousness sticks its face up against the glass to try and see what's going on out there. But that's just a metaphor. My consciousness doesn't have a face or eyes. All I can do is feel. I push those feelings out of my mouth in the form of words. It's true that there were rumors about you, but in reality you were into boys. You were 13, it was winter. I was speaking with your dad, acting friendly. You need to get some more medicine from mom. All you could do was watch. What are you trying to get at? I'm only tracing out the silhouettes behind the frosted glass. Honestly, I don't know what any of this means. I keep talking as if things out with the tip of my finger. Your dad always was so apologetic to you because he thought it was his fault that your legs turned out that way and that you didn't have a mother anymore. It was an unfathomable way to comfort you. Everyone respected your personality. That's why you never bothered to learn about equal relationships. At least, that's what you thought, didn't you? You coward. What's wrong with using the weapons you've been given? I'm not myself. I wouldn't say things like this. Your first prey was the kind, chubby older who wore thick glasses. You knew you had good looks, but you were afraid to use it to sway the opposite sex since you didn't know much about them, so you disguised yourself with a made-up character. How could I do something like this? How could I expose someone's weaknesses, criticize them for it, and make sure they can't return to the status quo? No, I'm not that weak. Yes, you are. You don't know me. I am you. We both are. I hear Renia raise her voice in anger. And yet, I think I'm smiling, even though it's not funny at all. I want to stop already. But I can't take my eyes off the faint silhouettes. I can't stop tracing them with my mind finger. The sights I see are so cruel they make me shudder, which is why I can't peel my eyes away. A garage floor, a shard of glass piercing the hand, the helplessness of being unable to stand up. Met the encroaching red flames, despair. Met, shut this girl up! I snap back to my senses when I hear that voice, as well as a short, high-pitched electronic sound, like that of a cell phone ringtone. I try to remember what I saw, but like hand sanitizer, it just gives me a tingy feeling before slipping through my fingers and evaporating into thin air. It's me. What? Renia in chaotic disarray. The fact that I can tell that means I must have recovered a little. I chuckle to myself. I'm starting to feel my lips again. Small signs that I'm recovering. It's just funny to think that I got directly injected with tranquilizer and shrugged it off this easily. It's like I'm superhuman. Super ghost, I mean. There's a bit of trouble at the factory. I'll go there directly. Take care of things here, Met. Makes no mistakes. Yes, ma'am. Promise me. I swear my afterlife on it. If we had known things would turn out like this, you should have implanted the device closer to the spine. If you did, then I'd be going to work with my new friend Sayako by now. You will tomorrow, for sure. Renia smiles for a moment. I don't know if she regained her composure or if she's just bluffing. Either way, I'm impressed. See? You can say something good every now and then. Once you're done here, you two come see me together. What? Miss Met opened the door for Renia to leave, and Miss Met does so. She exposes her back. I need to find a way to get away from her as soon as possible and find a way to remove this bug. How much time do I have left? It can't be much. Somehow, I managed to lift up my upper body. I can move better than I expected, but not as much as I need to. I pick the cosmetic bottle off the dresser and hurl it at Mrs. Met with all my might as she turns around at the sound. Mrs. Met doesn't flinch. She just calmly turns towards me as if it were a roll of toilet paper I threw at her instead of a glass bottle. I need to get up and get out of here. It's at that moment I realize how dumb my feet are. It's like I've been sitting on them for hours upon hours. My legs can barely even support my body. If you really care about that girl, you shouldn't keep humoring her like this. You really believe I have any alternative? Mrs. Met tackles me when I can't even stand. There's nothing I can do to fight back, especially considering the overwhelming difference in physique. After all the effort I took to get back up, my body ends up being back on the floor. There's nothing wrong with dedicating my body and soul to serve her. I would gladly die for her if she simply gave me the word. Most people would never experience such devout loyalty. Miss Met straddles me, takes out a gun, and points it at me. I'm confused for a second. Speaking as someone who's been shot to death before, the flow of time certainly seemed to slow down the moment you're shot. So in other words, this can't actually be taking that much time. In this eternal fleeting moment, I see Miss Met's eyes from behind her long bangs. She's crying. Miss Met drops the gun, only to strangle me with her now open hands. I try to shake her hands off my neck, but I'm unable to grab her thick arms. I guess it's because our weight difference. I've been trying my best to ignore it, but a foreign object in my arm is literally crawling under my skin. It feels like the bug has slammed into my shoulder bone and trying to make a slow detour. Now I feel it. It's driving me crazy. I need to do something to distract myself. After all this thinking, I realize something. If Mrs. Met were seriously trying to strangle me, it wouldn't be like this. I can feel some hesitation in her hands. That said, she is still strangling me, my vision gradually fading. If I lose consciousness now, I'm sure I'll be the new me by the time I wake up. Right, the gun. The gun Mrs. Met dropped. I've stopped trying to grab her gun, and instead feel around the gun for which it should have landed somewhere near my side. Obviously, Miss Met notices and takes one hand off my neck so she can keep the gun away from me. It's easier for me to breathe now, but that doesn't change the situation. If she tosses the gun out of my reach, it's the end of the line for me. There must be a bug implanted in Miss Met too. That much is certain from the way she speaks. Alright, what did Anya say that one time again? I take a deep breath while the pressure on my neck is loosened. Well, you tell someone to do something and they must do it. Tell them don't, and they must not do it. You lay down the rules. I'll be quiet. I won't speak anymore. Miss Met's grip suddenly weakens. Brynja's last command was, shut this girl up. I announced my silence, thereby fulfilling the command. In other words, at this moment she lost her reason to manhandle me. After checking to see if I can move my pinned lower body, I quickly pull out a leg and kick Mrs. Met in the gut as hard as I can. Great, I can move my body now. Miss Met falls backwards with the gun in her hand, and it's pointed at me. Unlike a robot or a cyborg, the soldiers can think about various aspects of their mission and can thus violate part of their order as long as they uphold the order overall. That's what Anya said. Living brains have a leeway in their decision-making ability. If you think about it logically, what Renia really wants isn't for me to shut up, but to be incapacitated non-lethally. If I die, my body will return to the garbage dump, but what happens to the bug? I don't know. In any case, Mrs. Met pointing the gun at me, which means it's of no concern to her if her attack kills me. I'm confident I moved faster than the wind. I grabbed the round barrel of the automatic pistol. I can clearly see Miss Met reflexively pull the trigger. I'm out of time, but that's perfect. I push the barrel of the gun pointing at me into my shoulder. Ugh. Sparks fly in the back of my eyes, the back of my head, and of course my shoulder. Perhaps the whole body has turned into sparks. The taste on the tip of my tongue has got to be the taste of a bullet impact. Ugh. Ooh, what a punch. Knockout. I try to hide the pain as I drive my still perfectly geared left fist into Mr. Met's jaw. What a KO. Holy. I feel my fist land perfectly. No matter how tough you are, I doubt you can keep fighting properly after a direct jolt to the brain. But this is only the beginning. I'm not done yet. I yank up the neck of my sweater and bite down hard on it. I thrust my fingers into the fresh gunshot wound in my shoulder. The indescribable pain is so intense, it sends sparks flying in my eyes. I can't believe I have to gouge out this wound. I wouldn't want other people to hear the groans I'm making. Just a bit more. My fingers touch something hard. It's not bone, it's metal. Ugh. I can hear the sound of muscle fiber tearing as I pry the bog legs off my flesh. wrecked. Oh, she pulled it out. Okay, that's the end of that. I hold the silver lump on the palm of my left hand. It stops moving as if to say, now is not the time for work. Perhaps it's detected that it's been exposed to the air. I let out a laugh, and then I let out tears. But then I tell myself, now isn't the time for either of those things, as I refocus my attention. Mrs. Met sprawled out on the floor beneath me. I picked the gun up off the floor. I need to incapacitate her. I suppose I should shoot out both her legs. No, wait, I need to free her from the bug. If I pump her head full of lead, she'll wake up in the garbage dump as her true self, won't she? I point the gun at Mrs. Met's head. It pains my consciousness to do it, so I hesitate a little. Stop. So you're awake. Even if you shoot me, I'll still return to her from the garbage dump on my own 2 feet. There's no point. Miss Met speaks nonchalantly. There's no aggression whatsoever in her voice. In fact, she even sounds somehow relieved. It doesn't look like Renya actually cares about you to me. What matters is who you care about, not who cares about you. That's what matters to me, at least. Even if she continues to look down on you, I find it acceptable. She must be saying this because she'd been brainwashed. That has to be the case. Please be the case. But if you had a choice, wouldn't you want to stop doing this? Unfortunately, reality seems to betray my expectation most of the time. I would, but my desire to be by her side is more important. Serving her is what makes me happy. And this time is no exception. What makes you think that way? I don't understand why you believe in her so much. I had an epiphany one day. I realized that this is what I wanted. If I had to put it into words, I thought. She's beautiful. No objection to that point, correct? You're right about that? Good. We have a near infinite amount of time on our hands. I want to spend that time watching over beauty. And I've found a way to guarantee it. A way to be needed. And it will last for all eternity. I'm an atheist personally, but there's more than one way to get eternal bliss. If you'd rather stop doing this, then can you really say it makes you happy? It's a luxury to live in a situation that's ideal in all aspects, so it's complicated. Complicated? I'm not good with complicated topics, they tire me. I don't understand, what are you saying? I want a simple life. I can't suffer for eternity like you. So I have no regrets making some sacrifices. Even if it means making others unhappy? Are you unaware of how comfortable it is to live a simple, earnest life, pouring out love to someone without hesitation? If all you want to do is pour out love for someone, then you'll tire yourself out one day for sure, especially when that someone abuses you. But I've lived like this for all eternity. Pouring out love is my happiness. It's so fulfilling. I find it way more valuable than to love than to be loved. She doesn't know that it means to love someone. She's only ever been loved, even though she's so beautiful, so perfect. Her greed give her the desire to be loved, using any means necessary. That's all she lives for. It's so tragic. It's lovely. What? Yeah, whatever she talks about makes no sense or doesn't resonate with me at all, at least. I find myself unpleasant. I know my mind is warped and repulsive, but I want to keep doing what I'm doing as long as I can. I don't understand you, but I might be jealous. To have someone precious enough to you that you'd sacrifice your own existence, it must feel like arriving at a terminal station, the end of a long journey, a happy ending. When I think about it like that, I guess I can kind of understand. I'm glad it turned out like this. Miss Met lets out a sigh. I felt threatened. No, scared are you? She wanted you to replace me as her right-hand woman. If she were successful, I would lose my place by her side. I can't spend my eternity as a factory guard like the others. That's the opposite of what I want. The factory? Oh right, the factory. Tell me where it is. I need to hurry. You plan on going with your body in shape like that? That's what I can tell you. I've been ordered not to. More importantly, what? I know I've said this already, but please don't kill me. I don't want to lose what she's given me. At the very least, I know what it is I truly desire. Miss Met says it with a smile too dazzling for me since it's brimming with confidence in her conviction. It's such a beautiful smile. For just a moment, she's just as beautiful as Renya. Has Renya ever seen that smile? I'm going. I shoot Mrs. Met in the right leg. This way, at the very least, she probably won't be chasing me after me anymore. Since I shot with my left hand, the recoil feels stronger than I expected, causing me to stumble a few steps. I try to think of what exactly I can do with only one arm as I rush out of Renia's luxurious room to chase after her. Talk about a neighborhood dispute. As I go down the stairs, I touch the bug in my pocket. This thing was a curse for me, but a blessing for Mrs. Met. It's her bond with Renia. Maybe I could approach Renia pretending to be brainwashed. But then again, since there's a main control unit somewhere, it wouldn't surprise me if there was some sort of indicator showing which receivers are working. Which means I'd be found out instantly. I'd feel so stupid. Clara's still in my room. When she sees my bloody left hand, she lets out a sickeningly cute shriek. Eep. Like that. When she asks what happened, I consider smacking her, but I manage to hold back the impulse. Instead, I grab her by the shoulder and tell her this. It's a good thing we're friends, huh? It sure is. We're precious friends. In my country, there's a cultural tidbit we call Yakuza Kachikomi. Wow, that sounds so lovely. Yes, it is lovely. So what do you say the two of us do a little Yakuza Kachikomi right now? By the way, have you ever shot a pistol? I know you've been shot by one. Suddenly, I've got a bad feeling about this. I know, but I want your help, please. I'll help as long as I don't have to hurt anyone. Okay then. I suddenly get curious about what time it is, so I ripped the duct-taped curtain off the wall. There's a thin line of white starting to form on the sky already. We probably have about an hour left of live time. I set my sights on our goal. I can't help but laugh when I see something unusual in the usual view outside my window. Or to be more accurate, there's something unfamiliar inside something familiar. What's so funny? I tell the confused Clara, it's nothing, as I picked up that rope. Euro bought, but never used. Huh? What? I tie up Clara's slender body, as you might expect. Clara got a few questions. Please explain, what exactly are you planning to do? Just trust me. I look out the window again. There's that electric bulletin board that was set there way back when the three of us got together again. But there's a new message scrolled across it. It was Renia the sweet seller. Pacifica and I are trapped in the factory basement. Please help. Smiley face. How can you expect me not to laugh at that? Okay, that's kind of funny. I promise that I'll exceed your expectations. Throughout this whole ordeal, I've been unsure if I could truly trust the people I thought to be my friends. I thought trusting people meant having peace of mind. I thought choosing to distrust people meant closing my heart to them. But that's too naive. That's such a self-centered way of thinking. My friends are wonderful, lovable, and also dangerous. If they knew I were applying such a naive thought process on them, I'm sure they'd make fun of me. First, there's Pacifica, who earned herself fame and power in this town all by herself. And then there's Anya, who got the courage and the skills to send a unique SOS signal even when captured by the enemy. They're both such excellent, reassuring people. It'd be rude for someone like me to even have to consider whether or not to trust them. Those two constantly exceed my expectation using everything they've got. They always have. Now that I think about it, I may have exceeded their expectation as well. That's the definitive thing that tied us together. The fact that we give each other everything we got. The bickering, the conflict of interest, the deductions that made my trust in them falter, all a bunch of poop. I casually sling an assault rifle on my shoulder and I suddenly notice something. That nasty wound has already healed considerably. It's almost as if it were never there. Ghosts can't keep many things, and I've got a particularly strict limit in that regard. I know that from experience. Perhaps fatal wound comes towards the limit, and all the guns I keep under the bed have bumped it up to past the threshold. It'd be really convenient if that were the case, but is it true? Well, I can just think about it later. Clara, do you know where the factory is? Just the general direction, at least. Oops, I forgot to gag her. I removed the gag and apologized to Clara for getting carried away as I chuckled merrily to myself. Wow, why does she always do Clara dirty? Clara knows that the factory is a big place, but it seems she doesn't know any specifics like which street it's on, or if the walls are green or yellow or whatever. Well, we just gotta find it with our guts. Guts and lots of running. There will probably be guard on watch, which actually help us because it will give away their position. That's when Clara comes in. Renia has a cooperative relationship with a priest, and therefore, the church in general. A devout follower of the church like Clara should be useful as bargaining material, even if it's just a bluff. An underling stuck on guard duty is unlikely to hold much influence. I should be able to at least buy some time with some smooth talking. It's a crude plan. The voice of reason says I should really plan out more of the details. I ignore that voice and crossed through the apartment courtyard when suddenly I quickly close my eyes, but it's too late. The intense light scorches my eyes and leaves me unable to move for a moment. Well, I guess someone got an even cruder plan than mine. I let out a dry chuckle. Is that the way to the factory? Yes, that's right. Was that? You see that? Everyone really does exceed my expectations, and I mean that in the best way possible. My vision gradually clears up. Thanks to all the dust particles gathered around the center of town, it looks like the entire town in the middle of a sandstorm. By the time I realize that the dust cloud must mark the epicenter of the explosion, out from the ashes comes the silhouette of an approaching car. It's twice the size of the standard passenger vehicle. Its simple exterior resembled that of a business-class station wagon. As it approaches, its details become more distinct, the most important detail being who's in it. The moment I recognize her in the driver's seat, I feel a joy so intense I don't even have the words to properly describe it. Anya! I wave my hands as hard as I can. It seems like Anya looking at me, but she won't wave back. Is she mad that I didn't come to save her? The station wagon stops in front of me. Sayako! Pacifica. I remember Pacifica as she stumbles out of the car. Her warmth makes me so happy. I cry a little. I'm so sorry, Sayako. No, don't be sorry. You did nothing wrong. It's all my fault. I knew Renia was bad news from the start. She's on top of my wiretap list, so I even overhear her every time she orders pizza. You never cease to amaze me. I did half of the work though, just saying. You were friends with her, weren't you? That's why I was a little hesitant to intervene until it was a little too late. It's okay, that doesn't matter anymore. Anyway, where's Yoru? Oh, Yoru? Well, she's the one who came up with a brilliant idea to blow up the generator, but how did she know that all the security measures are shut off in case of emergency? Yeah, she can be a real big mystery sometimes. Well, not that big now. She's probably small enough to fit in a shoebox. She didn't make it out in time, huh? I guess that's one way to put it. She sacrificed herself so we can escape. Like at the end of an action movie? Well, we were simply moved by her action. I guess we have to go pick her up later on then. I cackle. It's hard to breathe with all the dust in the air, but I feel like I finally found a place I belong. About that. This isn't over yet, we've only just gotten to the main event. How observant of you. Now that some of the dust has settled, it's not too hard to make out that silhouette. Renia. It seems I've made several mistakes. Renia, this whole incident started because of her. So to end this incident, we must face her again. I see how it is. I'd say your first mistake was messing with us. Kill those two and come to me. If you think you can command me, think again. I already took that thing out. If you want me to do something, then ask properly. So you refuse? I'm sorry we couldn't be friends. Oh, is that so? I agree. You will be sorry. Renia lets out a small sigh as she pushes her small fist against a button in a hidden compartment on the armrest of her futuristic wheelchair. Obviously, I can't help but wonder what that button does. It can't be anything good, at least. Oh, Jesus. Her wheelchair started rattling, then it seemingly deconstructed itself into individual cylinders, spreading out like a metal tree sprouting out of nowhere. The beams then weave into each other and reconstruct themselves into a new sort of lattice structure, lifting Renia up high in her seat. It doesn't take long for the thing to expand to the point it towers over us. It grows about 10 times its original size. I can now say with certainty that the button Renia pushed was a transformation button. Whoa, it transformed, I dig it. She's faster than we thought. We couldn't shake her off her tail, which means why we have to rely on you, Sayako. You have to do something about her. A silver spider. That's what this weapon looked like. It's silver and it's got many lengths surrounding Renia's vantage position seat. The only part of the thing that still resembles the original wheelchair. Or else this is the end. I see. So this could be the end, huh? That's not good. Guess I better put in some effort then. I stoop down, pick up some snow by my feet, and make a fist-sized snowball. Then I hurl it at Renya's face. Come at me! Are you kidding me? The spider picks up one of its legs that may be twice my height and then... Oh! Ew! It swings the pointed tip down hard immediately behind me, skewering Clara from the crown of her head straight down her lower abdomen. She looks like an obscene object DR depicting the way butcher birds impale their prey on thorn. The vivid contrast of the vibrant red blood against the cold silvery steel has me frozen in my tracks for a second. Get in! Pacifica yanks me by the collar and drags me into the station wagon. I end up biting my tongue a little due to the whiplash of the car suddenly taking off. So that's what we're up against here. Any ideas? Sorry, nothing jumping out at me. Even if we don't know what we can do, we have to do something. Pacifica flings the rear door open, reaches behind the rear seat, and picks up what looked like an old painless minigun from those action movies. She proceeds to spray bullets at the spider. Honestly, her aim's not so bad. But it's a wasted effort. Several shorter legs located closer to Renya move with unbelievable speed and precision to deflect any bullets that threaten their master, while ignoring the rest. Anya suddenly swerves to dodge a longer leg that pierces the ground way too close to the car for comfort. I support Pacifica's body when the abrupt turns threaten to knock her off balance. Pacifica curses as she loads the next magazine and fires again. The spider seems to slow down as a whole whenever Pacifica fires at it, so I bet she feels obligated to keep shooting. Lest the car turn into shish kebab. How's she's piloting that thing so well? I shout as hard as I can so that gunfire doesn't drown me out. There's no way she's driving manual, not with movement like that. There's gotta be a camera or sensor or something hooked up to real-time image processor to detect and neutralize any threats like guns or whatnot. So we're up against a genuine war machine? Like hell it's genuine. Normally you'd expect it to have guns and more armor and stuff on it. Lucky us. Not lucky enough that we have a chance against it though. So you're saying we just have to shoot at it from where the camera can see us, right? You've got a right idea, and I bet you can make it that shot too. But there's no way we can gain enough distance on that thing. Maybe if we had the gun inside a flash toy. That makes for a funny joke, but I don't think we got any flash toys here. Psycho, let's switch up places for a second. Okay. I switch places with Pacifica and continue to fire bullets with a machine gun. The rapid clanking of metal legs as they deflect the bullets nearly drives me insane. We don't have that much ammo left either. Even if we conserve as much ammo as possible, it's only a matter of time before it runs out. Get down! Oh, this is a bazooka. The whole interior of the car explodes. At least that's what it seems like for a moment when Pacifica launches a rocket at a spider. These sort of rockets are quite slow, which gives us plenty of time to pray. I think I hear Renya shouting something. The next thing I hear is the impact. Hey, there's a little thing called backblast, you know. I just figured that thing can deflect bullets, then maybe explosive would do the trick. It's incredibly hard to see thanks to the fumes from the explosion. I can't even see the spider silhouette. Did it work? My vision starts to spin, and at the same time my whole body feels intense G-forces. A few seconds later, I realize that one of my legs pierced the station wagon and swung it around. Oh, my body gets flung into the snow. I blank out for just a moment before I realize that now isn't the time, so I get up. The spider leg had gathered in one place to form a simple protective wall in front of Renya. It seems several of the legs have been damaged, exposing the joints, but that's all the damage there is. Our nearly suicidal rocket launcher struck had an effect, but it wasn't enough. Well, I guess it figures that this thing would have all sorts of weapon data stored in its database. Anya speaks as she struggles to crawl out from the driver's seat of her overturned car. I must admit, you caught me a little off guard, but this is the end. Renya speaks calmly, with a sadistic glint in her eyes. I didn't miss the flustered expression she had on her face for a split second though. Unfortunately, I can't even manage to stand up. The only thing keeping me from being skewered right now is Renia's desire to satiate her sadistic urges. It's like I'm already dead. I mean, I'm always dead, but you get the idea. Oh, I call Renia something you definitely can't say on TV. I can clearly see Renia's calm, collected face distort with rage. I can also see the spider lift up one of its legs. Machine gun fire nearly ruptured in my eardrum. Pacifica unloading every last bullet at Renia, slowing the speed of her leg movement. The attack barely grazes me as I desperately dodge it. I then borrow a warhead from the box that tumbled out of the car. I was easily able to hit Renia in the face with a snowball earlier, despite it being both slower and a bigger bullet than a bullet, which can only mean one thing. Objects thrown by hands don't trigger the spider defense system, and if that's the case... Oh my god, you're gonna manage to throw it? Oh jeez. I don't really want to say something like that's the power of friendship, because that'd be cheesy. So I say it ironically, as a joke. That's the power of friendship. Friendship's the best. Friendship's the worst. Shout out to my friends. Meaningless shout with your friends. The achievement. Renia looks like she's become part of the wreckage. Though I guess that's not too far from the truth, since this thing was quite literally like an extension of her body. Sayako, you're making a mistake. There's also the fact that an exposed shaft or something is stabbing into her back. Associating with lazy will only make you lazy too. I think it's our mission to rule. Rather than actually talking to me, it sounds like Renia trying to convince herself more than anything. The plush toy she's always carrying has fallen onto the ground. Contrary to its soft appearance, there's cold, hard mechanical parts jutting out of a tear in the fabric. There's no need to rush anymore, so I slowly pick it up. I see. So this must be the main control unit. Give that back. You seriously think anyone would give it back when you ask like that? I just stare at Renia. We are superior. Unlike you people, we're not fakers appealing to teenage brats who buy cheap knockoff brands named sneakers. What? That sounded so pathetic I had to close my eyes. Do you feel empathy for this girl? I do, don't I? That stuff is meant to be inhaled or injected by VIPs who possess soldiers who will gladly die for them when given the word. It's a glorious, high-purity, genuine article. Only the genuine can understand the feelings of the genuine. One day you'll understand. I'm the you from the future. Someone here to pick you up. I don't even have to look to know who it is. The heavy footsteps and heavy breathing due to the heavy injuries makes it quite obvious. I had a feeling she'd be coming. Met. Let's go home. Everything will be okay if I do everything I can to treat your injuries. I'm not your master anymore. That doesn't matter to me. What are you talking about? It matters to me. If you're not my slave, you're worthless to me. Your wound certainly is deep, but... I lean in next to Renia and examine her wounds. I take the bag out of my pocket. The poor thing had failed in its mission to take control of me. Renia opens her open eyes. Renia eyes open wide. She mouths the word stop. On close inspection, I find that her wound isn't actually bleeding that much, so I set the bug free inside of it. I figure it's closer to the spine than the arm. The sky's starting to turn white, but I figure we have enough time to get home if we started walking now. So we've got plenty of time. Renia, do raise your right hand. Before I even finish speaking, Renia raises her right hand. Even though it's caught... Oh, my bad. Even though it's caught underneath a jagged metal part, which leaves a big scratch on the back of her hand. I can hear Miss Met gasp. Fine, go ahead and humiliate me. I don't want to humiliate you. Don't worry, I won't do this again. Let's see. First of all, I commend you to don't die. Miss Met speaks up when she catches on to what I'm trying to do. Wait, no, you shouldn't. Next, do cease all sales of both drugs and sweets, and don't send hooligans to our room. Don't cause harm to me or the people close to me. And also, don't work with the church. This isn't what I want. Tell me how you really feel. It is what I want, but I don't think it's a wish worth granting. It's weird, I know. Maybe she's got a point, but I do think it's a wish worth granting. Renia, don't leave Miss Met's side. Miss Mets do protect Renia at all times. In particular, do prevent any situation that might cause the extraction of these bug things from your body. Moving on. And furthermore, do continue to live together in a peace for good. I drop the plush onto the ground. I do the best I can to make sure nobody ever touch it again for the rest of eternity. This is probably the limit of what I can do. At the very least, I feel refreshed. Let's go home. I talked to my two friends who've been watching over the whole thing. I want to take a bath. I want to eat meat. Sounds good. Let's do both. Please wait. Miss Met directs Rania out of the scrap and carries her on her large back. It looks like Rania is asleep. That, or she fainted from the humiliation, though her face does seem to be peacefully asleep. Miss Met, you just said that this is weird. I think Miss Met is a good person. According to Rania, she's nothing more than a lazy ghost, but she's still virtuous and pure, which is why I want to reward her. Though I'm probably just being self-centered and self-satisfying here. Yes, I did say that, and I still think it, after all. Everyone is a little bit weird. That's what my doctor told me. I didn't know what she was talking about at the time, but now I agree. Miss Sayako. The doctor's always giving medical exams in the plaza, and that's where I'll be too. I'll see you again someday. I'll be waiting. My two ghost friends and I feel happy as we walk off briskly. Not because we don't have time, but because we want to be home as soon as possible. We'll leave the other two ghosts behind. I can't help but pray that one of them will be happy for as long as possible. Wow. What an ending. Okay, at least now we get a memory. I guess, again, kind of confusing. Like mind control and then it was over. I don't know. Yeah, it's so weird. It is truly odd. Okay, now it's the end of the episode, so we should see a memory. And we're one episode away from finishing, so yeah. Hopefully we really need answers, man. Like, we really need answers. So let's see. Can I make twist with this? I can't. I have to watch it every single episode. That is crazy. I wonder if the game was episodic when it released. I don't think so. I think this is like its full form. Huh. That's interesting, actually. Because it does call episode 1. Okay, let's see the memory. One summer evening, when the air is hot enough to make you gradually break out in sweat. It's my first summer in this town. I've got a different sort of heat than the city. But just as I do in the city, I make myself as small as possible as I get down from the single car train and head towards the unmasked turnstile. Oh, she's waiting behind the turnstile. She's got a small, slender body and a cute face with a small upturned nose. The slight humidity isn't doing her fluffy hair any favors, but even with that in mind, she's still several times more attractive than the other girls her age. She notices me. Her face is a paperback book, but I notice her eyes twitch a little. However, she still pretends not to have noticed me. I hold my card against the turnstiles and pass through them. I do so even though I'm just going to go back inside after seeing her. Because she'd get mad at me if I didn't. Actually, she wouldn't get mad, just pouty, with a look of displeasure on her face and tears in her eyes for some reason. And her mood wouldn't improve until I personally apologized for every little thing I've done wrong. You're late. Once I pass through the turnstiles, she looks up from her book. I've been waiting for ages. You really expect me to show up immediately when you call me unannounced? That's what I wanted to say, but instead I just said what I usually do. I'm sorry. No, you're not. I'm sorry for being inconsiderate and making you wait out in the heat even though you're tired from practice. I see. Apology accepted. Try harder next time. The two of us pass back through the turnstile. That's another day worth of lunch money wasted for stupid formality. And money's not the only thing that I've lost today to feed this girl's stupid desire for control. Listen, I worked very hard at practice today. It's been about half a year since I had to move to this remote rural town due to a parental job transfer. I don't know if it's because of the country climate or my own personality, but my climate at my new school treats me like an outsider. Classmates, I call it climate. And nobody's tried to be my friend. She's the only one who's even approached me. She was just as alone, and for that simple reason, we began to spend time together. Her parents are also from the city. So she says she's picked up an urban vocabulary and into nation, innovation from her parents. Innuation, maybe, right? But I doubt it was entirely natural process. She yearned for city life and believed that the city is where she belongs. She acts like she's been unjustly torn away from the city. From what I've heard, she's been to the city no more than 4 times in her life, so I seriously doubt she's really a city girl at heart. Well, justify or not, that's how she acts. So I guess I can't blame the locals for treating her like an outsider. As a result, she had nowhere to belong. That's when actual city folk, moved in, and she sets her sights on me. She believes that if she can control me, she can control her delusion of the city. By the time I realized that, it was too late. Nearly half a year had passed. Hey, are you listening? We wait for the train at the empty platform as it gradually gets darker. Nearby is an unmanned police box, an old, worn-out beauty parlor, and some sort of office. There's also a field, that's pretty much it. It almost makes you think we're in the middle of a desert or something. Oh yeah. If you're not interested, then just say so. I'm interested. Sorry. Must have been tough. What mean teacher. If you want to pretend you were listening, you could brush up on your acting skills. I'm not in my home city anymore. If I don't do things my way, I'll just get swallowed up. I won't come see you anymore. I mustered up everything I got to bring out those words. I'm not doing this anymore. But you're my precious friend. I can't believe you say something like that. We aren't friends. Friends are equals. You've got a lot of nerve to say that when you don't even have friends besides me. I have friends back in the city. I talked to them about you, and they all said you were mean. They were worried about me, so I've worked up the courage to put my foot down. That's a lie. I'm as emotionally distant from my city friends as I'm physically distant from the city. I was only ever in a friend group with fellow outcasts, so it's not like those relationships ever were going to last anyway. But I figure it's a lie I need to tell to show her just how firmly I'm putting my foot down. I'm not a good liar, but she has no way of finding out the truth. The rest is just a question of how bold I can be. What an obvious lie, as if you got any friends. Her voice is as cold as a window pane. In the dead of winter, it seems like she's seen through my entire bluff. But that's all just for show. She's just as weak of a girl as I am. So I just mimic her and speak coldly as I can. Fine, you're free to believe whatever you want. The train's getting closer to the platform, so I can't hear what she mutters under her breath. You... She takes a step toward me. Her face is twisted with rage, but I still kind of think she's cute. Not exactly the best time to space out. By the time I snap back to my senses, I realize there's no more ground underneath my left foot. I've been thrust away. I'm falling helplessly from the platform onto the railroad track below. The sound of the train sliding into the platforms grows nearer and nearer. It's a 3-point fall. First my left foot, then my butt, and finally my shoulders. I'm in agonizing pain. Whoa. Okay. The train slides into the platform the opposite side as my ears pick up the distorted, grating sound of its brakes. In any case, I'm alive. That's kind of a relief since I was ready to die. But the relief subsides a second later when I see the girl who shoved me and the flames of rage ignite. Hey, were you trying to kill me? Are you out of your mind? As she looks down on me from the platform, instead of speaking timidly, she yells at me in a low voice I've never heard her use before. Are you trying to say I'm the same as the other shitty kids in this shitty town, in the shitty middle of nowhere? I guess it's easy to shit talk when you're shit too. You think you're hot shit just because you were born in the city? Well, my parents graduated from proper university, unlike yours. University? Why the hell are you talking about university? You're no city girl, you're a shitty bumpkin born in the shitty sticks. This exchange of words is completely pointless. I can't stand staying here, I want to fly away. What city friends? As if. You're obviously lying, there's nothing charming about you at all. What's the point in associating with you? There are no kids who would ever want to be your friend. Not here, not in the city, and not in the entire world. Yes, they are. There definitely are. There definitely are. This may just be me on this yelling competition, but now that I put it into words, I feel like that's exactly what I want to be true. There has to be someone out there in this world who wants to be my friend, and who I want to be friends with. There has to be. When I think about it like that, I start to tear up for some reason. Maybe just a way to cope with reality, but as long as I believe it to be true, I'm sure I can grow stronger in my own way. There must be someone waiting to meet me out there, somewhere far away from this stupid place. And I can't meet them unless I look for them. In the meantime, I'll have to make myself someone worth meeting. I'll come see you someday. That's why I can't rot and die in a place like this. I look up at the pitiful girl with a defiant smile. She runs away in fear, and by the time the police car and the ambulance arrive, I've been laughing the entire time. As a result, the doctor had my hand inspected too. Well, at least I got a funny memory out of it. What? Okay. I guess we got a glimpse of something. That's interesting. How the last episode is called? The day I looked at her, then saw her. Okay. Interesting. So we got something towards the end there. She had a fight with someone and they both hate each other for some stupid reasons, but still. Okay, that's interesting. That's interesting. I guess we'll have to wait for tomorrow and see what's up with episode 5, right? And we only have 2 more episodes left because I'm gonna cut it into 2 chapters. But yeah, wow. Actually cannot wait for tomorrow to actually continue because we actually got some really nice ending to the episode 4. We actually got to see something. So hopefully episode 5 will clear some things for us and answer our questions. But yeah, we'll have to find that out tomorrow. So again, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.